So, welcome to the 10th and final class session of our course on figure drawing. I hope you've learned so far from it, and today I'm going to take some areas of the figure to what is pretty close to an outright finish. And I'd like to find the time, if I can, to also go over the construction of the foot. I won't go into detail, but at least I'll get you an approach to drawing that appendage. So with that, let's go ahead and get on. Before I get started, I found a really good product. You may want to invest in it. I used to use plug-in electric erasers, and then I couldn't find any good ones anymore. Apparently the new generation that they've manufactured they fall apart right away. But this one, made by Sakura, S-A-K-U-R-A, it does just what I want it to do. In fact, you can take it, and maybe a little later I'll demonstrate it, and you can erase the entire cover off of Time magazine. And what you're left with will be just the paper stock before they went to press. So let's see how it works on our drawing on newsprint. You just have a red button and push that. Oh, well, there we go. Batteries are dead, so I'll do without it, and I'll demonstrate it during class. But we do have some areas you might see if you close in on the figure, like here and here, where adjustments have been made, and they still leave a ghost of the charcoal drawing that was first done. So with this eraser, we can actually remove all of those. It's about $19.99 or $20, so it's really a reasonable price. Okay, now in these areas, I'm going to saturate. That is to say, fully darken the shadows. As we've seen in some of the quite finished academic studies that I've introduced you to. So I'm putting in something that is, if not black, just right close to it. This is going to give me a great amount of leeway to place my my halftones next to and around around the figure. I'm pressing very near to the tip of the lead, which is quite sharp. I'm close to the tip, but not quite on it. And I may leave a little bit of gray just before the silhouette, so that we can clearly show that there is some reflected light. In particular, I'm focusing on the shadow from its edge outward. I'm focusing less on the shadow itself. And I'm being quite careful with the character of the shadow edge. If the form is round, then my edge is going to be soft. If the form is firm, then my shadow will be just that, firm. So if I have a bone just beneath the surface of the skin, I won't use a hard edge or a soft edge. Rather, I'll use a firm edge, something almost hard but not quite. So, for forms that are round, I use soft edges. For overlaps or cast shadows, such as, well, here for instance, that would be a hard edge. So be very sensitive to the character of the form and therefore to the edge between the light and the shadow. I'm pretty much not drawing anything within the shadow itself. I've already designed the shadow. Fine with me. So just otherwise. You can use your Conte for this. It's probably faster to get a really strong, simple, dark black than if you use any other tool. Well, in any case, it works for that. With the back extended, these muscles that run along the spine, the erectors of the spine, they become quite hard, not hard, but firm in their edge where they meet the light. If, on the other hand, the torso were flexed rather than extended, these edges could become soft, or the shadows could entirely disappear. I actually enjoy the stage before this more than I do filling in the tone. It's just a little bit, repetitive, but now in painting, you can do this quite quickly. Just put some really dark paint on your brush and apply it. It's not a problem. Here, it takes a little time. soft edge because the gluteus muscle is round. The contour of the shadow, its shape, will also describe the form that it courses over. That's what we're getting here at the hip. Next term, I'm teaching head painting, and I'll be using several different approaches and mediums. In the first case, it'll be a 2-week pose, and I will be applying just burnt umber, very dark pigment, right out of the oil paint tube. And it'll be very fast to lay in my darkest darks. This takes a little time. If you zoom in on my pencil lead, you can see a comparison between the lead and the lead as it was when I started on the left. Look how blunt it's become. Still sharp by many people's standards, but it's getting blunt. I'm not interested in any texture or detail within my shadow. Notice I don't go right up to the edge sometimes. I leave a little breathing room right there. If I go all the way up to the edge, I do that, by the way, in certain areas, but if I do it on a wholesale basis, the figure will look cut out or stamped or plastic. And that's not what I would like to have. Now don't change values in the process of putting in your flat, darkest dark. And don't lose the shape that you're designing either in the darkening. I know that there are overlaps happening here. I know that her rib cage and shoulder are overlapping her breast. But for now, I'm just going to disregard that and treat everything in one flat black. There are ways, actually, of approaching this drawing at this stage where you don't have to go everywhere with flat black. But for this demonstration, that's what I'm planning to do. The breast is overlapped by the torso. Overlapped forms get a little bit softer edges. you'll see on the photo that that's a very, very hard edge right here. Notice the reflected light under the gluteus maximus muscle right there. So that might be a good place to press not quite so hard and leave a suggestion of a lighter value at the end of the form shadow where the buttock picks up some reflected light from the thigh below. But the core of that shadow still is the darkest part. Feather out the edge. You can use short, brisk strokes like I just employed. Anything to keep that edge soft. There's a strong overlap here above the thigh, so I'll keep that edge quite hard. Okay, don't lose your patience. Keep moving through the figure. you can simplify your value pattern even more than the photo does. It's better to simplify than to complicate.